What's good, Lucky Lefty Podcast? Onora Boys in the building. We are brought to you by Onora Whiskey. It is OnoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And Left, if you're going to drink on this somewhat rainy, I don't know how it is out in the AZ, but in this rainy, this stormy, rainy day in the Midwest, make sure that you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I am SD2 Mike Sean Davis, that guy right there, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik ZAIRE. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey. Also brought to you by Believe Network, Believe Sports, Believe in Notre Dame, Believe in Lucky Lefty, Believe in yourself. Home of the Misguided Passion. Don't forget, subscribe on YouTube. Make sure when you subscribe, you leave a thumbs up on this video. It helps with the views. We appreciate it. And then leave your comments or questions because we respond to every last one of them. And on top of that, audio edibles each and every day. Do us a favor. Go over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We keep building every day. New listeners, new subscribers. Go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Believe Network, Lucky Lefty Podcast, audio edibles each and every day. We drop 2 audio edibles today. We'll drop one more in the morning at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. No, I'm sorry, Eastern Time. And then we'll have a couple more that drop on Thursday afternoon. And then go to LuckyLeftyPod.com. You don't want to miss it. We have breakdowns, analysis. We talked about the defensive back room and what Chris Ash had to say, and forecasting the defensive back room according to what he said in his press conference. We dropped that today. We dropped a couple of recruiting tidbits. And also now you can jump in on our message board. That's right. Our Spin It Different message board is up over at LuckyLeftyPod.com. Lock in. It's totally free for you guys. So come on in. You can talk college football, Notre Dame. Then we have a section for just other sports topics, music, life, anything that you want to chop it up about. And then we have a recruiting tab with some recruiting. I just put a tidbit up on the message board about DJ Jacobs, Blessed Trinity, Roswell, Georgia, 27 defensive lineman. He was in town on March 27th. Talked to him. Put up a little tidbit over there for you so you can go to the message board, the Spin It Different message board at LuckyLeftyPod.com. And as always, merch it. Buy some of our wonderful merchandise over there as well. Left, how are you doing today, bro?
Great. Getting over the hump day. Another opportunity to just get closer to the weekend, man. It's Thursday already. A lot of things on the horizon, and Notre Dame football is always on the up and coming.
Man, let me tell you something. Oh, Sean Paulus, we appreciate you. Sean Paulus actually subscribed to the website. Appreciate you, Sean, along with some other people. Yeah, you can subscribe to the website so you get a notification. He did it while he was on vacation in St. John. That's beautiful, man. That's absolutely beautiful, man. Is this somewhere that you actually want to go?
In terms of what?
Like I've done Canada, I've done Europe, I've done I was really young when I did France in England.
To be honest, I'm not really interested in any European country to go to.
St. Croix,
maybe Spain.
St. Bart's. Spain is dangerous, bro. Spain is a dangerous place. Spain is a dangerous place, my brother. It's
dangerous
because everybody talks about Colombia, right? Especially right now. Everybody's throwing like their bachelor parties down in Colombia. Like, man, go to Colombia for your bachelor party. Dominican is always a hot spot for, bachelor parties and guys going to kick it. Especially if you go, yeah, dude. Barcelona is
Serious, diabolical.
Yeah, Spain is just beautiful, man. And yeah, P Dub is right. Portugal is beautiful as well. Portugal is beautiful as well. Yeah. But I'm glad we're doing Italy too. My daughter wants to do Italy. So that'll be cool. And I'm a historian, bro. I love history, so I'm gonna be honest, going to see the Colosseum and some of the ruins and all of that stuff. I'll definitely get a kick out of that. I'll definitely get a kick out of that. I also, at some point, because my father did it, my parents did it when I was 11. I actually went to Israel.
You went to Israel?
No, my parents did.
Oh,
Some because of my faith. That's something I would love to do, but I mean, it's just right now. It's kind of, I don't know when that's going to be safe enough, in my opinion, to go ahead and make that trip. Hopefully I can do it, you know, in the next 10 years, but if not, then it is what it is. There's a lot of beautiful places around the world, and I'm definitely. It's funny because I was supposed, this past August, I was supposed to accompany a group of youngsters out of Detroit to the East Coast of Africa.
Wow.
For 2 weeks. And I didn't get, you know, with everything going on with my dad, and, you know, I just, man, it was planned. It wasn't going to work out at the time. It wasn't the right time to go. So hopefully I can get that opportunity to go back.
Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah. And a lot of people tell me to go to South Africa. You know, they talk about the beaches and they talk about the nightlife being super dope. So, LL question of the day. The like it, the love it, like it, shove it question of the day. So we're going to do one love it, like it, and shove it every day. And then every Tuesday, we'll do a big forum of it with Left right here. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We posted some clips on our shorts on our YouTube page. So lock in, once again, Lucky Lefty Podcast on YouTube. If you missed Love It, Like It, Shove It yesterday, go check out yesterday's show. Towards the end, right around an hour and 20 minutes, that's when we got into that segment. I'm telling you, you're going to absolutely love it. Question of the day.
Question of the day.
You ready? Who is going to top? Who will be the next player in the NBA to put up a 50-point triple-double? I mean, I'm sorry, a 60-point triple-double. There have only been 3 players. That is James Harden, Luka Doncic, and Nikola Jokic are the only 3 players in NBA history to put up a 60-point triple-double. Who do you think, LL Nation? Who do you think? You have all show to put it in the chat. Who do you think will be the next person to do it? That's the love it, like it, shove it question of the day. Love it, like it, or shove it. Do you think Jokic would do it again, Left? You loving it, liking it, or shoving it?
I like it. I just don't think he's a volume scorer like that.
Okay, you liking it? All right. Harden, you shoving him doing that ever again? 60-point triple-double from Harden.
I don't think James is going to be in a position like he was in Houston to do that.
Yeah. So okay.
I think it's either Wemby, Bronny.
You think Luka does it in the purple and gold?
Is LeBron playing?
I mean, Luka's gonna be there for the next 10 years. I don't know if Bron is gonna be there for the next 10 years. So
most definitely he can do it in LA. Love it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let us know.
Jaden Ivey, I got confidence. I love it for Jaden Ivey. You know, when he
speedy return to Jaden Ivey. Maybe I'm sure his mom now can go check on him. Make sure he's good. Say it again.
He got 3 babies now.
Hey, that's that married life, boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's that married life. I'm not mad at him. SG, I could definitely see SGA doing it. I can see SGA doing it. I don't think Cooper Flag could get there. He's not that type of. I can't see him. Maybe as his game develops. Wemby definitely. Because Wemby, wait a minute. When he played on Christmas Day, didn't he have like 48? He had like a 40-point triple-double in the Garden.
He's gonna come because he'll get 10 blocks easy.
Heck, he might stretch it out to a quadruple.
That's what I'm saying. He can get 10 rebounds easy. He can get 10 blocks pretty easy. I mean, he can load it up. So,
man. So we're gonna hear from both wide receiver coach Mike Brown and linebacker coach Max Bullough, and then we're gonna hear from the likes of Jordan Faison, Drayden Greathouse, Cam Williams, who we're hearing a lot about, KK Smith, Micah Gilbert, the wide receiver core, and then the linebackers, Jaden Osbury, KVA, Drake Bowen, Jalen Sneed. We got a lot in store for you tonight. So Left is going to decide who we hear from first. And I think Left wants to hear from the wide receivers. As a quarterback, I'm just going to guess that Left wants to hear from the wide receivers first. And so we'll go ahead and we'll hear from Mike Brown. And Mike Brown talked to, let me find the clips Left. I'm trying to pull them up. Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe they put them in a different place. Here we go. Mike Brown. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Brown was asked about the success of his wide receivers, what's going to be successful for them, and the young wide receivers that are getting opportunities. This is what Mike Brown had to say.
Just getting better every single day, man, and learning the offense, and not just the what's, but the whys into what we're doing, and just kind of mastering the system. You know, that's kind of the big thing for us, trying to take that next step. With obviously last year being year one, you know, kind of this is year two now for everybody, and so just continuing to raise the expectation, raising the bar from the learning aspect, and then obviously continuing to get better from a technique standpoint, and you know, defining who the leaders are, and then room camaraderie. So.
And then what have you kind of seen from Logan and Cam? Cam mentioned he's working in the boundary now.
Yeah.
What's their spring kind of been like?
Yeah, it's been good so far. You know, Cam looks like a completely different person, I think, than he did last spring, and so his growth has been really good. He's still got a ways to go, but he's getting challenged every day. You know, he's lined up against Leonard Moore every single snap, and so it's a good challenge for him. I think he's getting better. I think he is gaining some confidence in his technique and the things we're asking him to do, so that's been good. And then with Logan, Logan's making some strides as well. You know, Logan started off, he was on the scout team majority of the beginning of the season, and then we brought him down with us towards the end, so he's been hearing it. And the thing I love about him is he's a sponge, man, and he's just soaking in a bunch of knowledge from the older guys and taking that and applying it to his game. And so both of those guys have done a really good job, and excited for the remainder of spring to watch them compete.
I need that hat up off you, Mike Brown. I need that hat.
Nice.
I need that hat up off Mike Brown. That's what I need. Real talk.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. So we skip over all the stuff that they're working on in the spring. Cam Williams. Bookmark this because it's going to come up again when we hear from Cam Williams Left. He's going up against Leonard Moore. Leonard Moore plays in the boundary. So Cam Williams is the boundary receiver, or they're cross-training him at boundary because they already know what he can do in the field because of his speed. That's very interesting. It's very interesting, but I think it speaks to how much progress he's made, because you can't play the boundary unless you're a good release slash route running receiver, bro. Right? You have to be physical. You have to be able to get off because boundary is primarily bump and run. You have to be able to get off bump and run, and you have to be able to get into routes. Now, that's the recipe for most boundary receivers. So if he's doing that and he has made that much of a jump for them to trust him at the boundary, and you have to be able to block as a boundary receiver as well. Right. If he's really matriculated and matured in his game that much, you feel pretty good about the things you're hearing about Cam Williams.
Yeah, he's becoming a more all-around receiver, the guy that's cultivating and harnessing that talent and speed, putting it in the direction of getting better in his technique, and just being a sponge like Coach Brown mentioned about other guys, but with Cam, that confidence factor plays so much more into it. He's watched a whole season of Leonard Moore and Christian Gray on a big stage do a lot of things that against other top competition, he can feel like I'm getting better every day at practice. So even if I'm close to pushing these guys to get better or winning in reps or whatever the case is, it can't get much better than these guys. So what does that mean for the other opponents that aren't Leonard Moore and Christian Gray, who are, I think, top 5 corner duos in the country? I would say that. I wouldn't say they're farther than 10. I don't think there's 2 corners. I don't think there's 10 pairs that you would take over Leonard Moore and Christian Gray. So if Cam Williams is competing with that, he knows that what they say, practice is hard, so the games are easy. I think you'll see an immediate impact of confidence and comfortability coming from a guy like Cam.
And he went on to say that, in going up against Leonard Moore, he's actually winning some battles.
Right.
Now,
I'm saying
that didn't happen last year. Now he's getting them every now and then. Iron sharpens iron, like you always say, Left, especially in competition. You want your good on goods making each other better, and it sounds like that's exactly what's happening for these young receivers.
And let's just be honest, he had talent. It wasn't like he's just an untalented guy that we're just building from the ground up. The guy's actually really fast and can do a lot of different things coming in. It's just about, making the release better or knowing how far to get to the route depth and stuff that are very fixed. But the man got the talent. If you put the talent with him learning, now you're getting that developed player that is probably been there the whole time,
It's amazing that when you think about I remember we jumped into the off season, Left. It was just amazing to me whether we were doing the show together, whether or not I was doing some recruiting updates for IB. How many people, when we would talk about wide receiver recruiting and we would give updates on what we see from film from 26 kids and 27 kids, people would just, just get really gnarly and petty. And just take unnecessary shots at Cam Williams. And they would take unnecessary shots at Cam Williams. And I would just laugh, because I would say to myself, he's literally a second semester freshman. Like, why are we so angry? Or why are we so quick and ready to call Cam Williams a bust? Well, he's not even officially a sophomore yet. He's literally a second semester freshman. And what did we hear yesterday from Chris Ash that I guarantee you Al Golden didn't hear all spring last year? Chris Ash said what, Left? He said, we haven't worked on anything but 11 personnel. He said, my defense, we haven't seen anything other than 11 personnel.
I've seen nothing else.
Not last year in practice. Not last year in practice. No. Nope. Not last year. But Chris Ash literally said they haven't gone to any other formation other than 11 personnel all spring. Haven't had a chance to run a 4-3. Always a nickel.
We also doesn't care either about what they run. They're just gonna play all 11 and everybody's positionless. So,
but I'm excited because that means the wide receivers are getting opportunities, bro. Because it's 3 at a time. 3 wide receivers every rep, all spring. Not 2, with an emphasis on having the best blockers out there. Now it's 3 at a time, with the emphasis of catching the ball, running the right routes, and making sure you do everything you're supposed to do.
Right.
So I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. You know, when you hear that from the man, you kind of get excited. But as you say, Left, hey man, I need to see it.
Yeah.
I need to see it.
Yeah, I think it's the coach is always going to speak with a boost of confidence because they're coaching them.
Mm-hmm.
So they see the potential in what they coach and that relationship. They want to be strong, so they want to speak highly and in good regards of what they know they can be and probably what they're seeing. I think for us, and what's important is that Notre Dame's a big time program, man. It's no longer about the build up. It's about what can you do on the stage of. And so all this stuff sounds great. You're just not going to pull the wool over our eyes until we see it on the field, because that's where we are as a program. We just came from a national championship. So the potential of guys that we have, especially the guys that played that weren't starting out the season playing as a starter, all that development that they've gained in that season and now in the off season where they're primary players, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, we want to see production on the field. Maybe at another semi-good program like Brett Bielema, where you can build the height of an up-and-coming, such and such, because the program's in good standing. We're in a position where we're like, no, we need to see the guys do it. The hype is bought. What hype can't you sell about Notre Dame at this point? We got all the hype. All the hype has been bought up. Now it's about what product are we putting out there? Because think about it. Everybody's perception is Notre Dame can't win the big game. They can't beat Ohio State. Whatever. Everything else, we're checking the box. So it's like we're spoiled in the riches of doing all the little things the consistent and right way all the time, to where the standard is just, okay, you got to wow to impress us, which just fits the Notre Dame brand. I mean, the students themselves are coming from lineages and all type of crazy circumstances of status and whatever. So to impress them, you're going to have to do something different. You got to find a way to be creatively expressive to where it causes attention. I mean, it's, they deny valedictorians. Oh, that already tells you we got enough of them already. You got to do something more. And I think that's the good standard at Notre Dame, is that you're going to require more. When these transfers came in, what'd they say? Oh, I got to do school. Oh, I got to dress for this. Oh, I didn't even know. All these guys are wanting the same thing. They don't complain. Yeah, that's the standard. It just so happens it's the standard in many different areas. Y'all just had a couple standards. Apparently, y'all had a couple standards here and a couple standards there. We just got multiple standards in every area. So it's like you can't just be slacking off thinking you're gonna get by, which is why Notre Dame's not made for everybody. But at the same time, you know, all of that culture has built Notre Dame to a level where talk isn't good enough. You got to show us something. Because at this point, we have, like Chris Ash says, a bunch of good players. Everybody's good. He's surprised that everybody's good. Everybody's locked in. And a lot of people can retain information. They're consistent. But our problem has always kind of been we need that guy, that dude. And maybe that dude at other schools is just a disciplined player in every area, as opposed to the lack thereof in certain programs. But to be that dude at Notre Dame just means a little more because, like everybody says, we got a bunch of good players. We may not have all the 5 stars, but everybody else is pretty dang good. But we need somebody that's, and when that comes across, you see it. You know, Jalen Smiths, your Will Fullers, your Quentin Nelsons, your top of the top. So what is that player for Notre Dame? Who in that receiver room? Because, yeah, like Mike Brown said, they're all good. They're all getting better and learning and da-da-da-da. But Ohio State's a great example. They're like, yeah, we got a bunch of great receivers, but there's Jeremiah Smith. I mean, yeah, I know he's a freshman, but he's starting week 2 of spring. Like, yeah, we got, and they had the number, top 5 receiver that could have went last year starting. And Jeremiah Smith comes in and said, yeah, you're great. This guy gonna have to get the ball. But that's the difference. Now, not everybody knows you just don't print Jeremiah Smiths off every year, but we can still have a number 1 guy amongst the guys we got. Because if everybody good, then what do we have? I mean, we just got what? I think every great unit has still that guy. Our secondary has figured it out. Ben Morrison's the dude. Everybody else is good, and somebody else is going to pop up next year and get a Leonard Moore. Christian Gray's good. Carson Hobbs good. And then you got that dude in safety who was an award winner, first rounder. He's that dude. But Adon Schuler's pretty good. Tyleck's pretty good. Guys, we got guys that are talented. So the secondary has proved that, yeah, out of all our good players, we still have a hierarchy. There's no hierarchy established in the quarterback room and in the receiver room. When we can start talking like that, then, you know, there's a hierarchy in the running back room. There's a hierarchy in the offensive line. There's a hierarchy in the tight end room. When you have to question the depth of a room, then you're like, well, what do you really have? You're lacking, or you just automatically think you're lacking. If you can't think of an automatic depth in your mind, like how fast can you think of the starting safeties next year? Go, boom, Madonna Stroman, easy, boom, boom, easy. How fast can you think of the starting corners? Boom, Christian Gray and Leonard Moore. Boom, easy, quick. Took you 0.5 brain seconds. How fast can you think of the offensive line? And you can think of the base, and then you can add whoever, but you can think of it. Boom. Running back, boom. You got Jeremiah's Love and quarterback up. Gotta think. See, right there is the problem. Receiver, you gotta. It can be anybody. That's the problem. D-line, I got some pieces, but that's been a problem. Linebackers, boom. Drake, Bowen, KVA, boom. SNEED, Alberry. You hasn't been a problem. See what I'm saying? So when you know dudes and you can think of the depth off the top, it's not hard. Football's not hard. So even with all the good we have in the receiver room and the quarterbacks right now, we still don't have a dude, and that's a problem. So until somebody's like, I'm that guy, I'm the Heisman, or because Alabama's proved it. They said they can get a Heisman and quarterback or receiver, or like whatever they want. So until we start producing some award winners and some identifiers, it's going to be a struggle because you're just going to start testing different things. What's the full potential of the group? We don't know. So it should be a concerted effort. Same with D-line. Be a concerted effort. Yeah, we got 8 interior D-line. From Civilano all the way up to the Louisville transfer. But who's going to get to the quarterback? Is it Anye? Is it a young guy? Who is it? So I think that's the question through spring. But even still, there's a lot of time for a guy to poke out as that dude. And I think it just will be a great natural order of the development of everybody else. So Cam, who is Cam chasing? Who is Cam's Ben Morrison in the receiver room? Who's Jaden Greathouse's Ben Morrison or Xavier Watts? What did Don Schuler mention of why he felt so comfortable? He said, I got Xavier Watts there. I see him doing big things. So I had to come in and get right. That was a direct quote. He said, man, I saw Xavier Watts winning awards. He's balling. So I've had to come in. I had to learn quick. I know if I follow this, I can be this. What did Justin Scott say was the problem with D-line? Who do I follow to be this? There was nobody there. In the receiver room, who is Cam Williams following to be what? Nobody there. Quarterbacks have been restricted. However, I do think that we got somebody in there. Now, it's time for that, but I don't want to draw that out either, It's better to just be confident in rolling with a guy and fake it till you make it. And if it just completely fails, at least you gave a directive, So.
Lucky Lefty podcast. You nailed that, Left. Yeah, man, you absolutely nailed it. Mike Brown, he then went on to discuss the drops, Left. It was brought up by Mike Denbrock, and Mike Brown, he stepped right in front of the media and said, yeah, we're going to solve it.
Yeah, drops are always a tough topic of conversation, but just trying to create those situations as many ways as we possibly can, whether it's contested situations and things like that, and pre-practice or post-practice or an individual whenever we can, and just building confidence. I think a big part of drops at any level is just confidence, right? A great example of that was Jaden Greathouse, at the end of the year last year. He became confident, made some plays, and it got to the point where just about any ball you threw his way, he was catching. So a lot of it has to do with that. So we'll continue to build that. We'll continue to preach it and always make it a point of emphasis, and just take it one day at a time.
The first thing he said was creating situation. How many situations were created to build confidence last year? That just shows you where the problem existed. There wasn't enough situations created for receivers to gain confidence to catch the football. So when the ball came their way every once in a blue moon, what are you going to do with that? Because at the end of the day, you may have all the talent in the world, but when the bullets start flying, it's a certain way you have to lock in, where it's like you're not thinking about cone drills and technique. And it's like, it's one of those muscle memory things. But when you don't have the situations, which Mike Brown said we have to create them now, we're going to fix the problem by creating more. We didn't have enough. So, yeah, they got to catch it because theoretically that's the receiver way. But even Devontae Smith said eloquently in the Carmelo podcast how so many things have to go right where, you know, you can run open routes and not get the ball. But for you to run an open route and get the ball, they had to block. The running back had to find the guy. The quarterback had to go through his read. The defense had to open. So many things have to happen that when you get it, that confidence of when it comes to you is only gained through experience like anything else. So when you're out there running open routes all day and don't have the confidence the quarterback's going to find you, and then big third down and finds you in the perfect situation, you just not ready. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're just not ready. Not that you're not locked in or nothing. I mean, but that's where the mindset was more affecting the drops than I think. I mean, the mindset and the chemistry, than I think it was anything of where we just don't have the talent to catch it. Because, I mean, you go to practice right now, they catching everything. Catching one-handed, catching behind the head, catching, you know. So that's not a talent thing. It's, like Mike Brown said, there wasn't enough situations created, which they're doing now. That's how you address it. He didn't say, we got to get on jug machine and just catch a visit. No, because he knows that they can catch that. He said, we're going to catch and created situations. Contested catches, one-on-ones, different things, but also that chemistry is where it plays in with the quarterbacks. There's going to be a confidence that, okay, it's going to come to me eventually because we're going to be throwing that thing. We're not going to have 19, 18, 21 attempts in the game. We might be in the 28, 30 range. Hell, 40 range if we got to do that quarterback. Jaden Daniels had games where he threw the ball 50 times. So just, I can only imagine if we let Riley throw 50 times. You know what I'm saying? That would be a.
Sean threw the ball, what, 70 times against Pitt?
70 times.
70 times against Pitt.
That's when you know you have a dude at the quarterback position. You like, man, why run it? Why? Like, why ever run it? Why don't even, like, we got a line. We can, but why? Like, throw that ball.
That's crazy,
We're
bro.
throwing at a clip of 21, 23, 19. His highest may have been, what, less than 30, for sure. Oregon State throw it 30 more times than he do. Like, come on. Cam Williams' attempts in the game are, like, in the 50s and like, come on. You don't think Denbrock wants to do that? He did do that. So Denbrock's like, man, I had to go from comic book size playbook, 21 throws. I had to maximize. That means I had to plan it out to get enough big throws and mixed in with the things he could do. To where now, if we have that dude, he threw the ball 7 times in a row with Steve in one drive. So just imagine, extrapolate that throughout a game. Hell, the last time we as a quarterback room went for 50 attempts was Jack Cohn. He had 500 yards. He had 500 yards. So you can't tell me that that's not where we want to, Denbrock wants to exist. That's where the game is. Dylan Raiola throwing it 40 times again. Like, come on. But if we can ever get something close to that, now we probably won't get to 40 because we're still going to be committed to the run game. But hell, we're going to be in the 30s. That's a balanced game plan. We're not balanced.
That's the intention.
Yeah, we're not balanced in the 20s. It's just not a balance. There's not a balance when you're in the 20s for attempts in passing. It's like 70 plays in a game. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So those
I agree.
So those situations are created through practice, having more pass attempts in practice. I mean, just how Riley was talking about practice when he got here. He said, "Yeah, I was just missing stuff, and I threw it to one guy 7 times in a row." So, it's like if I was a receiver, I'd be like, "Man, this is terrible." We had even the tight end, the glorious tight end group, get upset, and how they get upset, they get 1,000 yards, 100 receptions a season. I mean, they was upset. So they was. Mitchell Evans like, bro, my draft stock. What's going on? Yeah, it was so bad we had to put him at the boundary receiver where Cam Williams supposed to be, trying to catch go routes just to get the tape. Little chip shots from 10 yards in. Like, we had to get him something because, my goodness. Chip shots with a big tight end. Like, well, come on. That's desperado.
Mike Brown also talked about his slot guys, Will Paulding, Jordan Faison. Will Paulding coming back from injury, limited in the spring. And Jordan Faison, of course, splitting time between the football team and top-ranked lacrosse team. This is what he had to say about those guys.
It's been good. He's a leader, man, and he's kind of taking some of those young guys like we just talked about with Logan under his wing and really leading those guys. And he's a weird one, right? Where he's the new guy, but he's been in this offense probably longer than any of the other guys, and then he's been around me longer than any of the other guys. So from that standpoint, he can help continue to shape the culture and push the standard. And then he's still got to kind of get back used to being in the system, get back used to doing the things the way that doing them. So it's been good having him around. It's been good to see him working in, and we got a little bit more work today, which was good, and we'll continue to build off of it.
And then Jordan Faison doing this amazing balancing act between lacrosse and football. How have you seen him improve? Yeah,
it's just amazing, man. It's good to have him around a lot more this spring, and he's getting better and better. He's just learning the offense better. He's recognizing defenses better. He's understanding different things in his route running, keeping his leverage, understanding where he needs to be, when he needs to be there. So there's a lot of little things about his game that's gotten a lot better so far this spring, and we'll continue to build on it.
It's good to hear that route running for all of the receivers seems to be improving. You hear from Jordan Faison, he'll be coming up shortly. But left, man, it's definitely encouraging to hear Mike Brown. He definitely seems like he knows what the heck he's talking about. Just what you pointed out, the nuance of how he answered that question about getting better. It's like, we have to create. Like, this is not just a run through drills, catch on the jug, catch from the quarterbacks. No, create competitive opportunities for these guys to go out, make plays so that when they translate to the actual football field in season, they've been there, they've done that, they've experienced success, and it's second nature to them.
Yeah, we want that to be seen, right? We understand that that's what we're excited about, but that's what we really want to see, man. I'm excited to see if we have the ability to showcase that receivers are developed at a clip where it's normal. Let's not have a spike season where we overdo it. Let's make it something where this is what we need to balance an offense. So I think just to see that Coach Brown is focusing on the things that can make the group sustain pretty good consistently, it's just going to require just a couple moments in the beginning of the season, I think. Just a couple games where the receivers win the game. I think that's just going to unlock all that stuff that we've been training and working on leading up to this point.
On top of that, a guy like Will Paulding coming in. Like you said, Will Paulding has more experience working with Coach Brown than anybody else. Knows Coach Brown and knows what he expects. So for him to latch on to KK Smith, Logan Sadati, and some of the younger guys and make an impression with them, you like hearing that. You absolutely like hearing that.
It's good mentorship.
Yeah.
Shoot, if you have that bridge from the coach to the player, that's just one drop in the bucket, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, man, want that extension on the field. Every position coach wants that guy that's an extension of who he is on the football field. So literally when you hear from the linebackers, literally every linebacker feels like they're a leader. And I'm something like, so every linebacker feels like it's their time to be a leader in the room. Like, that's crazy. But that's the standard, that's the expectation they have of themselves. Like, they see themselves as leaders. So that's a lot of dogs in that room. A lot of dogs in that room. Lucky Lefty podcast. So that's Mike Brown, what he had to say earlier today as he met with the media. Now, let's hear from the wide receivers themselves. And we're going to hear from Jaden Greathouse first. And Jaden Greathouse, he talked about continuing the momentum that he built up throughout the playoffs into this spring, how he's going about doing that. This is with Jaden Greathouse.
And it really just started, with the day one mentality of just, I'm going to come out here and, I have a reason for being out here. And, I'm going to be out here for my teammates and, for my family back home and everybody that supports me. And so, I'm going to give it my best every single day. And, every single rep that I'm doing, give it with 100% intentionality and, really just try to get 1% better each day so that, when it comes to next season, it's not just the last 2 games, it's the entire season.
And then I know you're still technically a sophomore, but do you feel like it is your room at this point where you can lead?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even some of the freshmen call me. So it's like, I'm only 20, but I guess I'm one of the older guys now since we ain't got the COVID anymore. But I mean, it's definitely a blessing just to be in this position, to be able to, be an example for everybody else in the room and to be able to lead by example and, to be able to help everybody else and just make the room overall better. It's definitely a blessing and something that I'm cognizant of every day and just trying to push myself to be better and everybody else better every single day.
I want to hear? I want to hear him talk about his connection he's building with the quarterback. Because he's been in the room. He's been marinating. He's been productive at times. His whole thing should be in the spring. Man, me and Kenny got work in after practice, before practice. Me and Steve got some on the weekend, and then me and CJ got some here and there. That's the next stage between the quarterback and the receiver unit in order for them to be at that next level, because that's where that they're getting that chemistry and on the right page, right? Yeah, it's one thing to be developing and doing all that, but if you don't have that connection to the other unit, nobody's ever going to see that. Hell, to me, it only gets enough to see you warm up and do a tempo drill. They don't get to see how you've been running routes. You just telling us what you've been working on. But we need to hear that camaraderie. Anytime you see a great connection between quarterback and receiver room, the sparks fly. We need to be able to build that phone line from one room to the other, because right now we're just talking in our own small groups. It'd be great for a guy, especially Jaden Greathouse, to be like, man, I've had different quarterback every year. I got a couple of years left, and I wanted to really build this on with the next guy. I got to work with all 3 of them. They looking good. I see the ball come my way a lot more nowadays. Things that, you didn't have to say that, but those are the things that would make me believe, that there's something changing and there's something happening. Because when you look at what you're telling us every year, that you're getting better with your footwork, this and that, how far does that even translate to what the game looks like when we run in the ball 50 times in a game? We speak about what's going on a team or something, what's the game plan looking like? Are you winning your one-on-ones? Is the ball placement right? So are we talking stuff about competing with the defensive backs? What about that? All I hear is that y'all talking about y'all making each other better, but what about y'all cooking them boys? Y'all go against them boys every day. What's that like? Are y'all winning the days in spring practice? Is it competitive? Give us some indication of that, because that's what is going to get you better. Experience.
Lucky Left Podcast. Well, I think most of all, Left, I hope he feels like he has unlocked whatever mysteries needed to be unlocked through the tumultuous beginning of the season for him. He, of course, went through some bad drops early in the season, highlighted by that big one against Northern Illinois. He had one against Louisville, but he came on like game buster against Ohio State and Penn State. So that's something that I expect. But he was asked about the quarterbacks and whether or not having three guys competing impacted the wide receivers in the spring. Left.
Yeah, I mean, all those receivers, we have great relationships with all three of the quarterbacks. So, I mean, you know, it's nothing really too different when we're out there. Half the time, you know, I'm not even really paying attention to who's back there when we're throwing. I'm just making sure that, you know, I can be the best version of myself so that, you know, I make whoever's back there job easy. And whenever he gets to the back of his drop, I'm wide open, and that's all he needs to do. So that's really all I'm focused on. And, yeah.
Coach Denbrock talked about drops, too many drops last year. What do you guys do to change that?
Yeah, I mean, just getting on the jugs every single day and just having intentionality with what we're doing. You know, I think drops comes down to, you know, what you're focusing on and, you know, just making sure that, you know, we're having intentionality in practice with everything that we're doing. So that way when it carries over to the game, we're locked in and, you know, we're on our assignments and that we're locked in on the game and that we can make the plays when we need to.
Yeah, just get wide open. How about that? Make it
He
easy.
said he's wide open. Yeah.
Yeah, get wide open. We good. You know?
Do you buy? He doesn't know who's throwing the ball as a receiver.
Yeah, I thought that was the wrong thing to say because
It was politically correct.
they got Herbert in there, they got the other kid in there. I mean, you need to know who's throwing you the rock. You know what I'm saying? Because my footballs never look the same like Ev's and Deshaun's and Brandon's, and you know what I'm throwing to you. So, and Ev, shoot, man, all of us had a signature football. You know, it wasn't like you just you need to know who you're throwing with. You know what I mean? But I like that he's trying to keep it very team oriented and playing nice, but nothing wrong with that. I appreciate him acknowledging he's going to do his part. So if he do his part, but Jim Brock preaches, do your job, then they'll be all right.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Had another young lady jump in the portal today from Notre Dame women's basketball.
Who?
Goodbye to Kylie Watson, 6'5" center. Oh man. Ship is on a lot of water, brother. It's taking on a lot of water. That's all. Hey, Jay Greathouse was asked about the benefit of having the same offensive coordinator for the second year, for the first time in his Notre Dame career.
It makes it a lot easier now, you know, being in the offense and seeing multiple different formations from us and, you know, different plays and, you know, how he likes things and stuff like that. So, you know, just building off last year and, you know, just continuing to work the routes, continuing to work the concept and, you know, fine-tune the little details and stuff. But, you know, everybody has, you know, a pretty good flow with the offense and remembers everything pretty good. So we've been learning.
I know it didn't end the way you wanted it, but how much fun was that run like?
I mean, it was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of, you know, experience. I mean, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you know, barely anybody gets to go to the national championship. And so, you know, I'm just thankful that I was able to, you know, be on that ride with my brothers from last year. And, you know, it was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of experience. And I'm just trying to do everything that I can to make sure that we're right back in that situation and that, you know, at the end of the day, that we can have a different outcome than we did last year.
Sounds like a confident young man. Sounds like he has unlocked the mysteries of who he is on the college level and what he needs to do. He also sounds like he knows he has some guys that can actually get him to rock consistently.
Yeah, I think he knows that this is the year to cash in capable guys. I mean, it's not no secret that everybody is probably more excited that the pass is more available just from just practice and just throwing every day. So I don't think that the guys are feeling any necessarily less confident. If anything, they're just okay. Now we get to be off of the shelf. Now we get to have more opportunities to have moments. I just don't think they had enough opportunities to make moments last year where it was impactful in the game. I mean, all of our big moments in games came from running the ball or something like. So I think that it's the balance is what I'm excited for, but hopefully they're just excited to be more activated and called upon to make plays because it's just a funny situation when you got Mike Denbrock, a bunch of talent, and you're throwing for under 3,000 yards. I don't think Denbrock has done that in the last 5-6 years. We get to Notre Dame, and it's just like, I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
And Jordan Faison, he's been partaking in practice a lot more. The schedule that they made between the lacrosse squad, football squad, working together, and Jordan has been able to take more practices than he was last spring. And he talked about the quarterback competition and the second year of the offense. This is what he had to say about the quarterback, whether or not he's being impacted by three guys competing.
I mean, it's been good for us. All the guys, they're top tier quarterbacks that put the ball on you, and we all have good relationships with them, good trust with them. So it's pretty much the same right now. It doesn't matter who's behind there. The ball's coming, and it's coming good. So.
And second season under Denbrock, now it's kind of like being on the same offense.
Yeah, we'll always take a step definitely. I think as an offense, especially the receiver too. First year you kind of just trying to understand the offense, and the second year you can really elevate to that next level. Kind of conceptualize different things and run your routes accordingly off of defense is the way Coach Denbrock intended to be. So I guess it'll be a big help for sure.
That second year offense has to feel much more comfortable for these wide receivers. Just has to be.
Yeah, I mean, just the understanding they have to be on the forefront of the team. I mean, it's an offensive-led team this year. That's the directive. That's the agenda. That's the direction it needs to head, especially coming after the national championship. We have to become a stronger offense coming into the 2025 season because the weaker offense is why we lost the game. It's just what it is. I'm not going to say the defense played great. But at the same time, we didn't score nearly enough points, but we had a bunch of people open and a bunch of things we could have did better offensively that we have to make the total shift of if we want to be in contention of winning it in the next few years. It's not I think we would just set ourselves back in so far if we put out a worse product offensively moving in the next year, and not even worse, just not an improvement of the clear difference between our team and Ohio State offensively was receivers. I mean, it's just a clear difference. I mean, you can argue back, you can argue the quarterback, you can argue the O-line, you can argue the tight end. But the clear difference offensively was a receiver, and which made the difference in the game. So it's not rocket science. That has to be better. If I'm Pete Bravacqua, if I'm outside looking in, I'm like, hey, we need to throw the ball more. Whatever that looks like, we need to throw that ball more. What are we doing? So, and it's just super ironic and crazy because we have Mike Denbrock. Like, dude, we don't have no first-year offensive coordinator, no dude that's just a guy. We have a top 5 debatably offensive coordinator. So, like, what? How was it not? So I like the whole year 2, expect different. Year 2, we built on it. Year 2, we're confident. Year 2, we're ready. We opened up the scheme a little bit more. Perfect. Now let's see it. Now, if it's anything like that Steve Angeli drive where we're throwing the ball 6 times a game, 6 times in a 7-play drive, I'm liking where it's headed.
Jordan Faison also went on to talk about the busy schedule, how difficult it's been. This is what he had to say.
Yeah, from last year we have a little bit of a change, doing a little bit more football this year. But again, the coaches and sports have to take care of me. They, kind of throughout these weeks, they've built in a schedule for me that allows me to do both, and just taking and running with it. So.
Now that Coach Brown's been here a year, where does he kind of help your game the most?
Yeah, he helps me IQ level. Kind of allows me to slow the game down, going out there, recognize the defenses before the snap and after snap, and it kind of allows me as a player to slow down my game, conceptualize different defenses, and be able to run my routes according off of that. It's been a major help to my game.
And then you obviously never lack confidence, but how much confidence did you get from those just making big plays last year?
Yeah, a ton. You come in nervous as a young guy, and then when you make plays and balls in your hands, you kind of, calm down and whatnot, and, find your game. And when the ball keeps finding you, kind of get in your groove, and the confidence builds, and then you just got to keep it in the room because confidence is pretty big in this game. So.
His journey left coming from the practice squad. I know early on when he got bumped up and was perceived as the number one, you were like, no, that is not. We don't want a guy coming from the practice squad being the number one receiver in the room. And a lot of people, push back, and you were like, look, you can push back all you want to. That is not the direction you want the wide receiver to go.
No.
So to have him in his place right now, working primarily out of the slot, getting the ball on jet sweeps and other things where he can allow his playmaking ability and run after the catch to really shine. The room is being formed around, or he's being properly placed in the room where he needs to be.
Yeah, as long as he's not number one receiver, he's a good addition. He just, my whole thing is that, no, that's a shame to the recruiting if he's our number one receiver, because he's not even getting receiver one money. We just gonna speak NIL. He ain't a tier one receiver to get receiver one money. So how can he be our number one receiver in the Notre Dame room? It's not that I don't think he's good. He's a great fit, just not his number one. Restrepo from Miami, he wasn't number one receiver, but he was really good. He wasn't number one receiver. So, I think that's just the idea of it, because your number one receiver, in my opinion, are freaks. You're 6'4", run a 4.3, or some crazy attribute that you can't train or develop. That's a number one receiver. Not the guy that's just, he's skilled, he can juggle with his feet, and he's a really good dude. He can play Mookie Betts style. It's like, give me a bona fide number one, and you can put all those other guys as good pieces. That's why Hunter Renfrow went to the league, and then 3 years later, he was gone. He was a great addition, but not a number one. So, I just think I love what Jordan Faison brings from in the game type of feel. Like, he gets going, other guys gets going. And I think he's going to continue to get better. That journey's crazy, man. A great story to tell. Him and Tyler Buckner kind of got a similar journey. Just, never saying no, never getting told no, always being able to adjust to the situation and taking advantage of when they get their chance, and became household favorites just on the team just because of that respect. It's like, okay, earn your stripes. You played big when they asked you to. You came out of nowhere doing it, and you hold the room right. You push the room forward. So guys like that you appreciate, because those are the fillers on a team where you're mixed with really good talent, guys that are developing, those kind of tweeners. I mean, Tyler Buckner's a tweener at this point. What does he really do? But you need him on the team. See, you know, it's the quality of a good team.
Well, someone that everybody wants to hear from is true freshman, soon to be true sophomore, Cam Williams. This is what he had to say, talking about his progression, what he's learned, working at the boundary. Cam Williams talking to the media.
You know, just going out there and having more clarity, being more comfortable kind of with, you know, just the playbook and, you know, the route tree, all those type of things. So kind of be able to come out here a second time and do it, see it again, actually, it's just allowed me to play more clean and sound. So it's been great.
And then where can your skill set kind of help this offense and kids? You
know, I think, you know, just keep playing fast and, you know, being sharp and crisp with my routes. And you never know the playbook too much. So, you know, just keeping at that. So.
Coach Denbrock talked about drops the other day being a problem. How does this receiving room improve on that this year?
I mean, your receiver, like, I mean, we can catch the ball. I mean, you know, they happen every now and then, and I think that's not so much like a skill problem. You know, it's just more of a, you know, just clarity. You know, they happen, and you know, we take those upon ourselves for sure in the room. You know, accountability. So it'll be cleaned up. Yeah.
And then, are you working at field and boundary this spring, or?
They've been all boundary. Yeah, they've been all boundary. It's different. It's a change. But I think it's good, kind of knowing that I can be comfortable in the field, but you know, being over into the boundary, it's a different game. So being able to kind of gain comfortability over there has been great.
Well, I like it because he has to go up against the best defensive back, one of the best defensive backs on a daily basis in the country. That can only make you better. Makes his release package better. Teaches him how to be physical, teaches him to block against the best. And so this spring can only really speed up his process, his development process, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where at the end of the day, his blossoming and coming into his own at the right time, he's in that window. You know, they're going to show him some love. They're going to give him the opportunities. He's fitting in the right time of where he is on the team. Guys are seeing him, you know, is this where he makes the crossover? It's a question to ask. You know, some guys that missed this window bounce back like Javon. Javon did his senior year. You know, because only so many guys can get that window opportunity before they have to get bounced around and ups and downs and put on the back burner or jumped over. Or so this is Cam Williams' perfect guy where everything just seems to be going right. Everything seems to be right on time. Now you're in the right frame of mind with the right amount of years left with the offense looking to look your way, you know. So I think this is a good time for him to bask in the window, but take advantage, change your life, right? Because every year we got a new Cam Williams. So until he can identify himself as that deal, you know, you got to be ready to take advantage of the moment.
Oh, man. Look, I'm just ready to see him play in the scrimmage, and I'm ready to see him play in the blue and gold game. I'm just ready to see all these cats play. And another guy I'm anxious to see play is Micah Gilbert. Injured his hand, starting to come back. This is what he had to say.
It was a shock, but it was getting better each day. Obviously, you know, it was an unfortunate broken surgery. It's better each day, still out here with the team recovering. So keep it going.
Is there a timeline on when you can get all that off?
Yeah, broken bone, 6 to 8 weeks. It's just your basic broken bone.
And then what and you kind of still get out of the screen like the injury?
Just everything no ball, still able to run routes, get the mental reps that I need, watch film, stay around the team, just no ball involved, nothing that could cause harm to my hand.
And then how are you with different players this spring compared to this time last year?
Just having a lot of reps under my belt, being able to get adjusted to the speed when I first came in, and then just being around the guys, being in the Irish program, it's just I've been able to adjust pretty well, learn the playbook, learn stuff like that so I can play fast.
How difficult is that adjustment to college ball?
It varies by person. It varies from the program you come from what you were taught in high school, so it all depends.
So for you?
I think I adjusted pretty well. I came from a high school that used a lot of advanced terminology and stuff like that. So when I got in, I just had to get just to, bigger guys get stronger faster. But I think I adjusted pretty well, pretty quickly.
How was your adjustment, Left? Was your adjustment pretty smooth, coming from high school?
I think a year helped me. And then once I started whooping the other quarterbacks in the spring game, I felt like I was ready. So after that first spring game, I thought I could hang in there. But then after Ev came back in that second spring game, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. So that's what I felt was that why I speak so much of it is because that's when I was like, okay, I got it. That second time around, where you're not the fresh meat, but you ain't the old guy either. I was like, they ain't messing with me after that second spring game. So that's a fun fact that I always keep to myself. I've been the best quarterback in every spring game. But that was my identifier. That, like, okay, I know I'm the best in the room now is about X, Y, Z, all the other things you tell yourself. So
yeah,
that's why I always thought spring games were important because you never get to gauge it because like they said, they do it even, they bounce you around and you don't start feeling like it's your offense until you, in my opinion, and for the quarterbacks, you win the spring game. Then in the fall, it's okay, now it's running the team.
Now it's running the team.
Yeah. Now y'all need to pipe down, let me get right. You know what I'm saying?
Lucky Lefty podcast. Logan Sadate will end it with the wide receivers. This is what he had to say about, what he's learned and how he's picking things up this spring.
I definitely say my head is a lot more clear playing with speed. Last season I was still trying to figure out the playbook, which was causing me to think every single play, which was slowing my game speed down. This year with Will Balling helping me, with JG helping me, Coach Brown, all right by my side. And it's kind of just engraved in my brain by now. Just go, go, go. If you're going to mess up at 100%.
And then you mentioned the game slowing down. I'm assuming it makes you more comfortable too.
Definitely.
How does that kind of impact your game too?
Honestly, it transitions to me being able to read the defense, not just, I have this route, run it exactly how it's drawn up. Being able to just find the open grass while being on the same page with the quarterback is huge.
Trying to get on the same page with three different quarterbacks, though, might be a little difficult. How is that affecting you, and how do you see that competition going?
I wouldn't say it's affecting any of the receivers. I think the rotation our coaches have going helps balance everything out, find whose connection is the best. But I think all three quarterbacks are doing great, all great leaders.
Shout out to the media for trying to really get something about the quarterback competition out of these wide receivers, bro, because every wide receiver got asked about the quarterback competition, and they were well prepared going into it. They had their PC answers lined up, ready to go. But once again, another young wide receiver talking about clarity, just clarity of knowing what you're supposed to do, being able to help you play faster, and it helps you go out and make plays. That seems to be the theme of the wide receiver room this spring.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for these young receivers to find their timing, which is on at the college level the most important. Get your timing right, and then realize that, man, this is an open air competition. There ain't nobody that's like big bro level on an experience side of things to where you're like he's going places. And not saying that Jaden Grayhouse and those guys aren't, but it's like, you know, I can mess around and get some time and be impactful and make an imprint. And I think Mike Brown is doing a good job of fostering that competition, but helping everybody get a stab at it.
It's absolutely insane. But left when we come back, we'll hear from linebacker coach, Mr. Max Bullough, right here, Lucky Lefty Podcast. You already know we spin it different.
What's up, family? The merch shop is finally here. Lucky Lefty Network merch shop. We got it all. From the shirts to the hoodies to the hats to the nitty gritties. Come here right now. Shop with us. Come get the swag because you know, if anything else, we spin it different. You see the gritty. You see how we get down. It's elite.
Second hour, or second half, shall I say, Lucky Lefty Podcast. MALIK, ZAIRE, SHAUN Davis, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey and courtesy of Believe Network, Believe in Notre Dame, Believe in LL, Believe in Yourself. We appreciate everybody for locking in. Continue to do so. Subscribe over on YouTube, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. It helps with the views. Leave your comments, questions. We do respond to all. And then Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We thank you so much for how you guys continue to lock in with us as we're over at Believe Network now, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Audio edible each and every day. Tap in with us. You can set up your automatic downloads or just go ahead and subscribe and follow. And make sure you help us by going ahead and downloading those as they drop on a daily basis. Don't forget patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, players only podcast with former Notre Dame players. The only Notre Dame podcast with strictly only former Notre Dame players. And then go to luckyleftypod.com, luckyleftypod.com for our message board. You can go post topics, talk amongst other Notre Dame fans. Merch it by some of our great merchandise over there at luckyleftypod.com. We dropped an article on the defensive backfield on Chris Ash. He coaches the secondary or has coached the secondary, and he sees nothing but greatness and versatility in the Notre Dame secondary throughout the spring. Posted an article about that over at luckyleftypod.com today. And then, of course, we cover recruiting, so you can tap in with that as well. That's luckyleftypod.com. Before we get to Max Bullough left, let's knock out a couple of these GTB questions.
GTBs.
Indy Milton fan, excuse me, ladies and gents. Indy Milton fan haven't been able to follow recruiting as much this year and curious who the 26th Chicago standout is like Justin Scott was last year. Mikael Blake, he'll be on campus Friday. Simeon, teammate of Christopher Burgess Jr. Yep. Jay Grizz, you put this one up early. Do you guys give Mike Brown the credit for the development of Greathouse from the regular season ahead into the playoffs? Because to me, Greathouse made huge strides in the playoffs. Left.
He did good. I would like to see some consistency and some bona fide moments. I think receivers gotta have moments too. So he had a moment in Penn State. I think he had a pretty good moment in Ohio State catching touchdown, but let it be known. Let him chase that top receiver in the country status. I think that'd be the best thing to see from him.
So get your GTB and your super chats in. We appreciate them all. Max Bullough. Let's hear from him. Left the linebacker core. Where would you rank if you rank the position rooms from best to worst? Where would the linebacker room sit for you, Left? Third, second, third,
fourth.
Wow. That's a pretty talented room to put forth. So you will put them behind the defensive backs, running backs, and O-line.
O-line, running backs, tight ends.
No, it can't be behind tight ends, though. No. In no way this linebacker group is behind the tight ends.
It's secondary.
I would go secondary with you. I'll go running back with you.
O-line.
To keep it funky, you just talking about talent. An argument could be made for the O-line. An argument can be just flat out talent. Just flat out talent. I can see that. They would be third for me. But I can see you, if you put the O-line in there, I can see you bumping them down. I could. No problem with that. Who is the unquestioned leader? Max Bullough. Who's the unquestioned leader?
Our guys are sharp, man. Our guys are sharp. They put a lot of time into the game. They understand the game. They understand it conceptually. So a lot of it has just been taken, hey, this is what we called this last year. Now this is what it's called this year for the most part. And they've been able to handle that well. The young guys are coming along well with it. It's a lot of learning for them. But for the old guys, it hasn't been too cumbersome. It's pretty much, this is what that means. All right, now that's what it means this. Let's ride.
Where have you seen Drayk Bowen's development over the past year?
Well, Drake's a guy that, this time last year hadn't played any football. Okay, then he comes in last year and kind of becomes, in my mind, what Drayk Bowen is now. And that's, the head of the defense, the mouth, the commander, the leader of it, along with the other guys. We got a lot of guys. I mean, they played equal snaps last year, so I'm not anointing anyone. But you talk about a guy that went from being a young guy last year to having to be in the front of the room, the veteran, the leader in a lot of different ways. In the front of the room now, he's answered that bell.
Well, Coach, you didn't try to anoint him, but you kind of did.
Yeah, like one person. You try to say young guy. You explain his whole development. He said what I think he is now. Let that be your boy. Ride with him. Ain't gotta be.
We got a lot of guys. No, you literally said he's the mouth.
Yes, he's the head, commander in chief.
He said all of that. All of that.
He described about 7 things about him. Said, "Well, I'm not going. We got a lot of guys. No, you think you got one guy with a lot of other supporters, which is fine. Because guess what? He identified the top dog in the room. See how easy it was?
Good point, Left. Didn't take long.
He said, yeah, we got a lot of good. No, Drayk Bowen is the head, chief, and commander. The mouthpiece. Whatever you think is the top, that's him. And then we got everybody else. Good, but they ain't Drake. He even said his last name, Drayk Bowen. When he get really good, they're going to just call him Drake. They ain't going to be talking about the singer.
I'm going to say Drake with a Y to differentiate.
So that's just an example. It's just an example of what I'm talking about. You ask Gino Gadula, he's going to be like, we got 3 cables. No. You ask Coach Sider, he's going to be like, yeah, we got Jeremiah Love. He's going to do this and this. And then we got some other good guys and no confusion.
Man, speaking of Drake, I actually picked the misses up today, Left. And She doesn't like driving when it storms. It was real bad storm. So she was like, drop me off. I was like, cool. And picked her up today. So she gets in the car and 10 seconds into the ride back home, she says, You're actually listening to Drake?
Mm.
And I was like, I never said I didn't like his music. I just don't like when he perpetrates as if he's a gangster or something. I'm like, the kid can rap. Like I've always said that he can rap. And it was funny because the song I was playing was from Views. And I'll never forget, this was like my daughter's freshman year of high school. And I don't know about you, people used to make us laugh because my daughter was in high school still sitting in the back seat. Like when my wife wasn't in the car, my daughter was still in the back seat when she was in high school. Like we didn't play that. Like no, until you get a license, that's when you can hop in the front seat. Until then, stay back there in the back seat. I think I let her ride with me a little bit earlier. My wife was a stickler for that though.
Right.
My wife was mad. But no, in all seriousness, bro, I remember I used to listen to this one song all the time off Views, and my daughter one time was like, Daddy, why are you always listening to this song?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, man, you don't like it? She was like, no, you just don't listen to anything else.
Drake is the greatest rapper of all time.
All right, see, this is I was telling a story, and here we go with the false narratives.
Kanye is the greatest artist.
Here we go with the false narratives.
Rapper of how many other artists have multiple songs that got you
left talking Notre Dame, bro. I listened to one song out of that whole album. He's not that great. Lucky Lefty podcast. He's not that great.
He just got a number one.
Lucky Lefty podcast.
SD Records.
Say he got what?
All of my friends.
It's not number one. So stop lying. It never hit number one.
Oh, it is.
It never hit number one. Stop lying. The charts just came out this Tuesday. Stop lying. No, sir. Sorry. That's how false narratives start. He's number one. No, he's not. Stop.
See, that's Drake hate. Drake hate.
I don't have to hate anything. I'm speaking truth. I have no reason to hate him. Jalen Sneed. Let's talk about Coach Book.
He's done an incredible job. He's a guy that before this year was never able to stay above 220. I mean, he couldn't get to 221, be 213 the next morning. Okay, and now he's put himself in a position where he's consistently above 230. He's right around 235 right now. The cap's actually 240, so make sure next time you talk to him, stay underneath that. But it's completely transformed what Jalen Sneed can be. It's transformed his ceiling. It's made him into really what I think he's viewed himself as his whole life, and that's as good as it gets. Now you just have to put in the work and do the details and do all the little things. It's not just because you're 235, you're handed everything. But now you got the body, you got the framework to do it, and he's in the best place physically and mentally by far that Jalen Sneed's ever been in. At least I can say that since I've been here. I'm very proud of Jalen Sneed and where he is at.
Hey, well, I like that. I like hearing that.
Yeah,
you like that cap in 240? You like that 240 cap for your linebackers left? You like that? Like, hey, we're not going above that.
No, it's pretty good. I mean, anything bigger than that, I don't know if you can keep up with much.
You playing defensive end, right?
Yeah, at 240. You're not covering nothing at 260. But by the way, Drake's key is number one on Apple Music, just globally, to let you just.
I go by Billboard. I don't go by Apple Music, bro. Oh my God. He's number 6 on Billboard. Kendrick takes up the number 1 and 2 spots on Billboard, by the way, this week. I just thought I'd give you the stats. Go ahead, though. Go ahead. You were talking about Max Bullock and Jalen Sneed.
I like that Max Bullock has great relationship with his linebacker core, though. He knows each guy. He clearly has a favorite, but he knows the development of each guy because he's been there. Remember, he's he's a young coach in a unit position, so to speak. So his ability to connect with those guys and install that mentality where, you know, Max Bullough can probably still play. You know? Yeah, he probably still knows some things. So I think those guys in the unit probably get a big kick out of the fact that, like, yeah, you can believe that whatever Max Bullough is telling you, he probably did it himself, you know, especially his intensity and passion for the game. That's very infectious. I feel like that would be infectious for me to be in that room, and it's encouraging when your linebacker coach probably lifts with you. Jalen Sneed probably got the idea of getting that size and being specific on what weight, because Max Bullough probably played the same weight. I mean, it's just like the guy, image-wise, of what you want to have as a mentality and a linebacker coach, you got it. And then the next step to that is Marcus Freeman, who's just more cleaned up. He's probably not as football gritty as Coach Bullough, but Marcus Freeman knows what's going on too. So you make a mistake, it's like the head coach gonna know what you did. You know, like, no, I saw it. I know what I'm talking about. So that's a great sort of expectation to look up to when the head coach played it. Your position coach can play it now, but he's coaching it and he's like giving you the game. I mean, that's a great chain of command to be like, all right, if I'm doing good, I know I'm doing good because these two guys know what they're talking about. And that goes back to a recruit believing in the coach that can develop him to take him to the next level. That plays a huge factor. You know, yeah, you could say NIL and all that, but T. Harp said it. Mm-hmm. Justice said it. Carnell Tate said it. When I get there, give me what I don't know and need to get beyond this. And that linebacker room has those things. They got Bullough, who played it, coached it, can give you the in and outs, how much to weigh, things that a guy who probably is further removed from playing would even think of, right? I mean, he's thinking of like everything as if he was going through it, which is a great connection. And then on top of that, you got Marcus Freeman, the head coach, who's going to be like, okay, I gave him the game. I know what I'm talking about. I can help on top of that. And I'm the head coach. I'm supposed to be thinking about everything, but I really know this. Mm-hmm. So I don't see how there isn't top round 1 through 3 round linebackers going every year for the next few years. I mean, it's set up for it. Hell, we had 2 3rd and 4th rounders that came unexpectedly for me, but I mean, that's that counts. They can say, hey, Marist and JD Berger, and they drafted. So who's next? So
Lefty podcast. So for me, Lef, I like hearing that about these linebackers. It goes back to what you said. Everybody has a clear, defined role. Like, you know, bam, they're dogs. You don't have to guess who's the dog, who's the top guy, who's this, who's that. They're all locked into their roles. They know who they are. From Jalen Sneed to DRAYK, BOWEN, everybody. And I love BULLOUGH knowing this is what we have. This is how they're growing. And he was asked about the true freshman, Madden Faramo, who came in during bowl prep. This is what he had to say about him, Left.
Madden came in at a tough time. Okay, he came in the middle of playoffs. He's got 3 weeks of practicing, during the playoffs. He's with scout teams. He's got a lot going on. He's got to get to class. He's got to, figure out where his dorm is, who his roommate is, and it's snowing on him. And then we come to get a new coordinator, so then the terminology changes on him as he was starting to learn that. It's been a lot for Madden. Okay, but he's handled it really well. We just got the midterm grades back. He's in great shape there, which is something you don't always know how they're handling that until the results come out. In football, every day, I would say, especially this last week, is starting to slow down for him. Starting to hear things more than once. Now he's heard it 2 times, 3 times. The good thing about Matt is he has a lot of guys in front of him to give him great examples of what to do. It's not like he's learning from me just talking to him. There's guys doing it right in front of him that he can ask, he can talk to, he can watch the tape, and he's certainly coming along that way.
Coach, we talk a lot about players having grown through that playoff run, but it was your first season as a position coach. Like, do you feel that you grew at all during the playoff run? And like, if so, how?
I feel like every coach, at least speaking for myself, I think you grow every year, regardless if it's, if you're playing for 8 games, 16 games. Like, I think you grow, you learn, one, about the game, but 2, about your players, how you can motivate them, what they respond to, how far you can push them, how you can utilize them. I think every year, no matter how long you're in this, it's a learning experience, and last year was different.
Let me tell you what I love about Max Bullough right there, left, and what he said. Mon-Fri has a lot of guys in front of him that he can learn from. See, that's how you know. Because I say it all the time. We're so quick as fans to want to see these freshmen get on the field. But you're an elite program when those freshmen have to sit. Wait your turn. Wait your turn. We said it last year. People were like, oh, KVA is going to be starting by the middle of the season. I was like, wait a minute. Did y'all think Drayk Bowen is just going to... How do you think this is about to go? Drayk Bowen is just about to disappear? And now here we are. Drayk Bowen is the unquestioned leader.
I mean,
he's the dog. He's the head.
He's the head.
But that is how you know you have quality depth in a position room. When you get a talent like Mon-Fri and you're not forced to play him. How many times have we seen Notre Dame in the past be forced to play a freshman? That was probably nowhere near being ready to play.
Rico Flores, 2023.
Heck, for that matter, Jordan Faison coming from the
Faison
squad.
Only coming from the receivers. I'm just saying that's weird.
But that shows, like you said, there was no pecking order that those guys had to wait their turn.
Running backs have always had it. From Sierra and Theo to right now. I mean, it's always been
it's like the same thing we said about Aldrich Estime this time last year. Thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. But hey, man, go ahead and move. Move out the way. Same thing with the linebacker room. Jack Kaiser played the most games in Notre Dame history. Great representatives. We love you, Jack. Hope you get drafted earlier than most think. Hope you have a great NFL career. But hey, go ahead and get out the way. Get out the way.
Listen, these guys.
Yes. Get out the way.
Get out the way.
Because it's a different level coming through. It's a different level of athlete.
Morrison.
Keeping it funky.
We love you, Kyle Hamilton. I mean, hey, but these are great guys. But hey, Ben, you thought Ben knew he wasn't gonna come back? Because we love to do the they do it for the team one more time. It wasn't none of that. He said, oh, Leonard got, I'm gonna go ahead and heal up. I'm good. I'm gonna just be the coach on the come back. Oh no, I'm not finna. No.
I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna watch these playoffs from the sideline.
Yeah.
I'll take meetings at the combine. I'm not even participating in the pro day. I'm having my own private workout.
Yeah.
I already know I'm first, second round. I already know that.
Yeah, there's no needing to come graduate.
They asked him at the pro day, like, you didn't feel the urge to work out today? He was like, my film speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
You got a darn good agent. That's what I said to myself. Ben Morrison has a darn good agent.
I don't have to do nothing.
No, it's pretty evident. He has a pretty darn good agent. He's going to be all right. So that's Max Bullough, your linebacker coach. His thoughts on his linebackers in the room moving forward. Great comments on Drayk Bowen, Mon-Fri, and Jalen Sneed. Let's hear from the linebackers themselves, Left. Drayk Bowen. My God. 34. What you got to say to us, boy?
You know, I got to grow each and every year. You know, being behind JD and Kaiser and learning how, you know, a leader's supposed to be and how, you know, you're supposed to act and carry yourself, especially linebacker. You know, everybody looking at you on the defense, and so just trying to get better and better each day and get our linebackers better and better each day.
And then do you feel like a leader of not only the linebacker, but of the entire defense?
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to. You know, that's just something I'm trying to grow into and develop. So.
How is it with Chris Ash as your defensive coordinator as opposed to Al Golden? What are some of the tweaks and what are some of the things he's got you working on?
Yeah, you know, it's pretty similar. He wasn't lying when he said that, you know, he was going to come in and keep everything basically the same. You know, we got a little different things as far as technique, you know, zone drops and stuff like that, but you know, it's been pretty similar, and you know, he's very similar to Coach Golden, the way he coaches and the way he acts. So you know, it wasn't much of a change.
What did you learn from Kaiser in terms of leadership?
You know, honestly, just doing all the right things at the right time. You know, Kaiser was never going to be late. He was never going to you know, do the wrong thing. So you know, just you know, the way you pick your teammates up, the way you hold the others accountable. Just kind of all the good things about what leadership is, and so I feel like him and JD really both taught me that a lot.
I just want to tap myself on the back for a second, love. Just for a second. Because I want to go back to 2023. When I came on this show doing Drayk Bowen's recruitment and said he's the future captain of this team in 2 years. Did I not say that, love? Did I not say that? Before he even got to Notre Dame, I said this dude is the future captain. He's the future captain.
It's 2025.
The oil was heavy on him, as we say in the church. The oil is heavy. The oil is heavy on this young man. He looks like a leader. He acts like a leader. He started to play like a leader.
Some guys should say that, yeah.
Hey, he just has it.
You know, Chris Ash tried to say, "Oh, I don't want to point out a no. Max Bullock said that's the head. Period. So that lets you know. I mean, Chris Ash can bull jive you all you want. Max Bullock told the truth. No, we got a head. We got the mouthpiece. We know who the dude is. I think that is a great example, a great roadmap for how offensively it should be too. Not a guy nominated, not a guy paid for, not a guy because he's been there the longest. Who is the dude that is like that? That's what makes a difference. And I think that it's respect to Drayk. I mean, shout out to SD2 Mics, man. He was on it. He's had interviews with Drayk Bowen and his dad, right? You guys had interviews before he came. You just got to understand the psyche of him, and you could just tell. You didn't have to go to all his high school games. You can tell by talking to him. Oh, no, that's. And he went up there and respectfully went through the process, learned from the JDs and the guys before him, the Kaisers, and picked up how you would want that mentorship to be, which is what keeps going back to our reoccurring theme. When you got something to look up to in the unit room of a certain level of knowledge or expectation, you take those bits and pieces while you're marinating. If you don't have nothing to marinate and you forced out there, you don't get the wealth of 70 game experience from Jack Kaiser. You don't get the game experience knowledge from a JD Bertrand and sorry, I'm forgetting the brother's name. Good grief.
Jack Kaiser?
No.
Maris?
Maris, yes. You don't get that experience from Maris and JD without not overstepping, but just learning from. Because guess what? Life came fast. The next year, you're the dude. You've taken bits and pieces from all of that because you had people in the room that were the standard, to set the pace, that had the attention and the accolade and credit in the resume that you can feel comfortable developing from outside of you just learning from the coach and learning from, so all those wealth and resources that Drake got, there's no doubt in my mind he's taking it all in. It's like, yeah, I'm the guy around here. Not that he's necessarily boasting it, but just the way he carries himself. So I think offensively, we've been putting in these Manchurian candidates. We've been paying for hired guns and foreign actors to lead a true Notre Dame offense. But we finally, can do it the right way through process. And somebody's gonna make that thing stand.
Oh man, not the Manchurian candidate, bro.
Yeah, the Manchurian can't, like, where is this guy from? Running out at the end on senior day. You just got here. You just got talking about.
SNEED, hearing good things about you, boy. What do you think about yourself?
I'm at like 238 right now. I just feel great, honestly. It's made me so much more explosive on the field. I feel stronger. I feel like I can push guys back. And I just feel like it's going to be a whole different Jalen this year.
How is it adapting to Coach Ash and his defense?
Well, it hasn't been too hard. We've just been building off what Golden has already set as a standard here, and he's just making the standard better, and he's just growing on that and making us better. We're learning a couple new concepts to make us better. We're fitting the run a little bit different this year, so I feel like he's just adding little bits and pieces here and there to make everything better than what it was last year.
And then what did you get out of last year, just playing as much as you did in big moments and stuff like that?
I feel like I learned a lot last year, especially going to the championship and losing. I don't even remember the wins, honestly. All I can remember is the loss, and that just sits with me every day. I think about it every day, and I just can't wait for the season to start so we can get back there. And I'm going to just keep grinding. This team's going to keep grinding so we can get back to the place we were last year.
How do you see your role this year?
This year, I'm a senior, so I'm trying to step up into a leadership position. I want to be able to lead the guys. I want to take control of the defensive unit, take control of the linebacker unit, and just be that leader that everybody needs, especially since Jack Kaiser's gone and he was a captain leader last year. I feel like we need someone new to step up, and I feel like I'm that guy.
It's a lot of cats that think that.
I don't need you to be focused on taking nothing over. I just need you to be focused on playing at 238, being consistent, being an impact player. Because remember, there's dogs and there's leaders, right? Be a dog. Be a guy that's in there just, making plays, and guys are playing from watching you play. But let the Chiefs be the Chiefs and the Indians be the Indians. So, not saying that he, like Max Bullock said, there's multiple guys that got voices and can lead. But there's only one Optimus Prime. There's only one Jack Sparrow. So don't be too concerned with trying to put yourself as the guy, because Drake never was like that. Drake was like, yeah, I'm learning, I'm growing. Drake's so cool. Yeah, I'm learning, I'm growing, adding my 2P. So it's just one of those things where being a senior, yeah, you want to be big bro. Big bro. So play like big bro. Go out there, dominate. You at the right physical peak. So it's going to be important for him to finish strong.
You know what's crazy? When you listen to Jalen SNEED, I don't mind. First of all, I'll say this, Left. I don't mind him speaking about leadership because immaturity has been part of his issue and reportedly has held him back.
Yeah,
with his performance on the field. So, if indeed he has become a better player and a better example, I'm all for that. Is it needed necessarily? Maybe not. But it can only help him get better.
Right.
It can only help him get better. And so for that reason, I'm not mad at him. I will say this. Chris Ash, he said something there, Left. They're fitting the run different this year. They're fitting the run different this year. You heard that, right? That Chris Ash is a very aggressive defensive coordinator. If he's having them react and come downhill quicker and faster, goes to what you said last night when you feel like you like them being able to get down to that 100 yards per game. Even when Chris Ash was at Ohio State, his defenses averaged about 127 yards per game given up on the ground. And 127 is, first of all, would be an improvement by 9 yards per game if they got down to 127. But the yards per average were 3.4. 3.4 yards per average given up on the run. I actually like that. I like that a lot. That bodes well. If what the linebackers are saying, if what Jalen SNEED is saying is correct, and they are looking to come downhill and impact tackles for losses and that run, that average yard per rush for it to go down and the yards per game to go down, I like it. I like it a lot. His first year he got there, it went down from 4.1 to 3.9. And then the second year, they were able to drop it down to 3.5. So that's very encouraging. What you heard there, I'm sorry, 3.4. So full half a yard the next year, his second year. So very encouraging to hear that from Jalen SNEED. Talk about the different run fit and how much stronger he feels being able to translate speed to power and push offensive linemen back when he gets a chance to rush the passer. Absolutely love hearing that from Jalen SNEED. All right, Lucky Lefty podcast. Jay Nosberry, and then we'll hear from KBA on the
just a lot of learning experience, the flow of the game, the speed of it, the calls, the tempo, just everything. So I think there's a lot of things I learned, definitely having that many snaps, planning to grow on that into the next year. So.
And then what's it kind of been like adapting to Chris Asher's tweaks to the defense?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. It's not too much different from Golden's. I think everybody's coming along with it. It's a lot of good teaching. And, I think everybody's picking up pretty well.
Now that you've been around for a couple of years, you sense that you need to take more leadership roles?
Yeah, for sure. We have a lot of young players that came in, obviously starting to play that older role, especially in the rooms, just leading the young guys, letting them know how we do things around and just, holding them to the standard. So.
How motivated are you after the national championship loss? How much does that push you? Jalen said he thinks about that every day.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely think about it every day. It makes me sick to my stomach. So, every time I'm working out, every time I come out here and practice, that's always in my mind, pushing me to go harder. So
I'm glad they're hurting. I'm glad they're hurting after that loss. I'm glad they're hurting. Let it drive you. Let it absolutely drive you insane. So you come out like dogs being let off the leash at Miami. Man, feel the pain of that last loss. Let it stay with you throughout the spring, the summer, the fall. Absolutely. Absolutely. Once again, Nosberry, he feels like, he needs to step up and be an example for the younger players. So that culture has already been set. It sounds like they're kind of creating a similar culture to the offensive line at Notre Dame in the linebacker room, where it is power is then transferred from whomever leaves, right? And the guys that are marinating, once they get to a point to receive that power that's given by the guy that's leaving, now they expect to be leaders. And I absolutely love that. I love it. Love it. Let me get KBA out of the way, and then I'll let you talk. Let me get KBA out of the way. This is what he had to say.
Been great. Love it here. A lot of development over the course of the last year. Having a great time, enjoying getting better with my brothers.
Where has your game changed the most from last spring and this time until now?
Yeah, probably really a lot of the mental side. Just being more situationally aware, being aware of like set levels, how I can put myself up for success on certain plays, certain downs, and how I can help my teammates.
What's the adjustment to college football like, especially not just from high school to college, but from the culture of Hawaii to South Bend, Indiana?
Yeah, well, from high school to college, it's a big transition for me, being far from home. I'm actually from California, but Southern California is a lot different than South Bend. But it's all part of, being adaptable and adapting to changes, things like that.
Mon-Fri said that the linebackers have done a really good job of him under their wing. Like, can you talk about what you've seen from him so far?
Yeah, he's great. Madden's great. A lot of talent. He has a work ethic he's always trying to get better, always trying to learn new things, and he's like a sponge. He's absorbing all the information given to him, and he's going out on the field and doing it.
How do you see your role on this team changing this year?
I think just stepping up as a leader, a little bit more vocally. Having a year under my belt, feeling like I can share my experience with some of the younger guys as well.
All these dudes feel like they're leaders, man. It's funny. Go ahead, Left. Take us out.
Listen, y'all, I love that y'all are aspiring to lead in your various forms, but can some people follow? There's nothing wrong with following a lead. We got 5 different people going in 5 different directions. I mean, come on, fellas. But the culture of wanting to be in the forefront and lead, I think is very noble. And it's a responsibility that all these guys want to take on. And if that's the case, that's really good, because when in doubt, expect guys to be all about it. I'm expecting guys to be all about this tough times and guys making a stance and paving the way and not falling to a lack of leadership. I think there's enough guys and it's safe to say that they have some potential to not fall back and only to push it forward. And like you said, drop something for the guys that are underneath you, because they're going to pick those up and build on, and it can be a great thing like the offensive line.
That's right. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We had a great show tonight. Thank you guys for tapping in. Don't forget LuckyLeftyPod.com. Go to LuckyLeftyPod.com. As soon as you leave here, subscribe, lock in, become a member of the message board. Leave your topics you want to talk about. We'll be answering. I'll be on the message board tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. If you guys want to meet me there, I'll be there answering questions. Whatever questions you have, I'll be answering tomorrow at 9 a.m. We heard from Max Bullock. We heard from Mike Brown. We heard from the players. You got to love it. We'll see you guys tomorrow right back here. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Continue to spin it different.